Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This report is on the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell results, and let's see. Off to the pre-show, WWE.com, and also the YouTube portion of it had a free show. Boring to me. And they basically started off with Scott Stanford and Matt Striker were on commentary and highlighted the Twitter war between John Cena and Vicky Guerrero. And they tossed it to Michael Cole, who was already in the ring with two director chairs. Michael Coleslaw introduced John Cena, who made his ring entrance, and they just sat in the chairs. Cole thanked Cena for taking the time to take questions from the WWE Universe. Cena and Cole smelled like raw sewage. The first question was about Cena passing the torch to Ryback. Cena said he has never had a torch. He just wants to see what Ryback can do. A top question asked what advice he can give Ryback. Cena told him to watch his back. Twitter question asked if Cena could beat Ryback. And Cena asked the fans if he could, and got a mixed reaction. He said he didn't make the matches, but if Ryback won, he wanted to throw his hat in the ring to be the first to challenge him. This will be available for the free replay. Okay, whatever. Dolph Ziggler sent in a tout asking if Ziggler, was the only real man left in WWE. Cena said he wanted to fight, so he dared Ziggler to come out and fight him. He shooed Cole from the ring and started trash talking to Ziggler. Ziggler's music hits. Vicky Guerrero comes out doing her "excuse me" bathroom bit. Then Vicky and Cena Vicky said Cena was made he got his hand caught in the cookie jar, but yet she's doing the same thing, fraternizing with the talent. She started to say more, but Ziggler ran in and tried to attack. Cena heard him or something and lifted Ziggler for the AA. Ziggler slipped out, but Cena clotheslined him over the top rope. Cena posed in the ring while his music played, and Ziggler and Vicky sold on the floor. Cena's answers were terrible, but kind of liked that they got there with the touts, but never saw it coming. My guess is Cena killed Ziggler to mitigate Ziggler's world title win, because that's how WWE does things. A video recapping the World Championship feud. The announcers ran down the card. Backstage, Josh Matthews interviewed Sheamus and asked if he was the underdog. Sheamus said he might be because Show was a beast. Sheamus said his underdog bite was worse than Big Show. Sheamus and Show backed down from their fight on Friday. He said he would never back down from a fight. And he had a brogue kick with Show's name on it. And the video hyped the WWE Championship match. Please don't let Sheamus talk again until he can cut a serious promo. I hate his character so much. Add Cena versus Ziggler to the card somewhere, and we have about 7 matches. Let's see what happens, shall we? And now for your Hell in a Cell pay-per-view results. Video hype the knockout punch and the brogue kick as hell, and the Cell and Ryback as Punk's hell. Pyro popped on the stage, and Michael Cole saw JR's Barbecue and JBL Oilfield checked in on commentary. Tony Kimmel introduced Ricardo Rodriguez, who introduced Alberto Del Rio, who introduced himself driving a car with a 490 HP. Wow, a video recapped Del Rio's assault on Randy Orton from SmackDown last month and Orton's revenge 3 weeks ago. Randy Orton was out next. The fight went straight to the floor, and Orton slammed Del Rio all around the ring. I missed this match myself, being that the internet feed would not come on. In fact, I didn't get to see it, but half the second match. Well, anyways, Orton rolled him back in the ring and followed, and Ricardo distracted Orton, and Del Rio racked Orton's arm on the top buckle. Del Rio worked the arm with strikes and various holds. He locked his cross arm breaker on the ropes, breaking right before the 5 count. Orton slammed Del Rio out of an arm hold. Probably just a reversal. Del Rio slid to the floor on the slam and ran back to the ring. Orton tried for a scoop slam, but Del Rio hooked his cross arm breaker, but he was right beside the ropes. Del Rio mocked Orton's Viper pose and tried for RKO himself. Orton shoved him away and used his momentum to hit the draping DDT. Orton posed and went for the RKO, but Del Rio slipped out and hit the back stabber for 2. Del Rio tied Orton in the ropes and did a double stomp to the chest from the top rope for a 2. Del Rio went back to the top and either fell off or something, so he must have botched it. But Orton had a drop kick and tried for RKO again. Del Rio countered again and shoved Orton to the corner. Del Rio charged in, but Orton hit a back elbow. Del Rio staggered into the ref, so Ricardo pulled Orton into the post through the ropes. Ricardo hooked on the cross arm breaker. Orton fought it for a moment, but Del Rio finally locked it in right. Orton sold for a while and then rolled Del Rio up for a 2 count. Orton staggered back to the corner and Del Rio ran over for an enziguri. Orton ducked it and hit the RKO out of the air for the win. That match took 12 minutes 40 seconds. Good opening match. It set a good bar for the rest of the card, but not one impossible to top. That being said, as cool as the ending looked, I didn't like the way the story ended. I don't know if Del Rio fell or if it was scripted, but it looked really bad. Orton not tapping to the arm breaker kills the move. Don't mind him winning, especially when he hits the move out of nowhere, but the no-selling of the arm breaker is too much. Video recapping what went down with the pre-show. Josh Matthews introduced Vicky, who said she was going to show her evidence on Raw and invited AJ to come to defend herself. She walked off and right into Paul Heyman. Heyman tried to get Punk out of the match again, but Vicky said people need to tell the truth. She said Cena needed to admit he had an affair with AJ, and Punk needed to admit he was scared of Ryback. Heyman lost his cool for a moment and said AJ got what she deserved. He calmed down, and Vicky was doing a good job. She didn't want to mess it up. He walked off, and she sold out. Let the shenanigans begin. Daniel Bryan and Kane made their separate entrances. A video recap of how Rhodes Scholars had won their tournament. Rhodes Scholars was out next. They cut a promo, and in an age of partisanship, after tonight, they would say, we are the tag team champions. They said it 3 times, then we got some decent heat. So we got Rhodes Scholars versus Team Hell No. Everybody got a quick turn start, and then Sandow clipped Kane's leg on a blind tag, and the heels went to work. Bryan got the hot tag and ran his offense on Sandow. He knocked both men to the floor and dove on them, but Rhodes moved away. Bryan rolled Sandow in the ring. Cody grabbed Bryan's foot, allowing Sandow to recover and hit Bryan from behind for the heels to regain control. Kane got the hot tag and cleaned house. Kane hit the top rope clothesline and set up for the choke slam. Bryan tags himself in and hits the top rope headbutt. He covered, but Kane pulled him off. They argued for a moment. Sandow ran over and dragged Kane from the ring. Cody charged at Bryan, but Bryan dumped him over the top rope onto Kane. Bryan tried to hit the knees from the apron on Cody, but Cody moved and Bryan hit Kane. They argued on the floor, but Sandow took out Kane, and Cody rolled Bryan in the ring. He hit Crossroads, but Kane broke up the pinfall and beat up Cody in the corner. Sandow ran in and got beat up too. Ref couldn't get Kane to stop, so he disqualified them, and they retained the titles. Kane hit choke slam on Sandow afterwards. Rhodes Scholars left the ring. Kane and Bryan argued until Kane popped his pyro. That match took 13 minutes and 9 seconds. I came in right about the point where they were arguing at the moment, and then Sandow ran over and dragged Kane from the ring. That's where I came in. Pretty good tag match. Nothing special for what I even seen. The story they told, and it played out well. The overall story they were telling, these four guys complement each other so well. I'm looking forward to see where this goes from there. Probably another rematch, and probably the breakup of Team Hell No. Backstage, Josh Matthews interviewed The Miz. The Miz said he was going to save the world because Kofi Kingston being champion was the end of the world. Reminds me of the song. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Well, so we get Miz versus Kofi for the IC belt. Both guys went for the finishes early, but both escaped. They both went to the floor, and Miz whipped Kofi into the steps. Kofi somersaulted over and came running back, but Miz hit an attack off the stairs in a very cool looking spot. Back in the ring, Miz hit one of his corner clotheslines, but Kofi hit his own clothesline on the second rope. Kofi hit the boom drop, set up for Trouble in Paradise. Miz saw it and rolled to the floor. Kofi gave chase and ended up back in the ring. They traded reversals on several attempts, and Kofi hits the SOS for a 2 count. Miz clipped the leg and went on work as the announce team sold it as taking away Kofi's strength. Miz locked in a single leg crab that Kofi sold for a while before making it to the ropes. Miz went for a skull crushing finale. They wrestled around, and Kofi kicked Miz to the floor. Miz rolled back in quickly, but Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise for the win. The match took 10 minutes, 12 seconds. After the match, Matt Striker interviewed Kofi in the ring. Kofi thanked Miz for bringing the Wildcat out at him. Kofi said he was proud to be the champion, and his music played. That was an odd promo moment on a pay-per-view. They did the same thing when he won on the main event. Maybe they're trying to let Kofi find his voice. I'm okay with that, because it gets him more speaking time and more TV time and more pay-per-view time. But so far, I heard it was a sugary sweet garbage. The match was good, but never in doubt. So it never took on a big fight feel. Backstage segment, Kane and Daniel Bryan are still arguing with comedy lines, and then Kane storms off. Antonio Cesaro made his ring entrance and announced U.S. title match was announced. Cesaro cut a promo in a foreign language except for the words United States Champion that everybody can understand. He got mediocre hit, and surprise, Justin Gabriel made his ring entrance. Gabriel might have had the worst haircut I have ever seen. The crowd died like it was a Divas match 5 minutes in. We Want Ryder chant broke out right after a moonsault from Gabriel. That's how dead Atlanta was, being it was in Atlanta, GA, my home state. Gabriel went for a top rope move to the floor. Cesaro hit the European uppercut as he was coming down off the rope. He rolled Gabriel back in the ring and hit the neutralizer for the win. And the match took 7 minutes 20 seconds out of our lives. Absolutely terrible match. The crowd didn't help out at all. But they didn't do much to help the crowd either. I love Claudio Castagnoli in the Indies. That's his name. Antonio Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli in Ring of Honor. But right now he looks like crap in WWE. I don't know if it is him or creative. I have my guesses. But this is terrible. Boring too. 5 different languages, whatever. Breast cancer video with Layla played. Video hyping Ryback. Backstage, Vicky Piggy talked to someone about getting furnishings for her office. Heyman walked up and said something about the match not being on. Vicky started screaming at him and asked who told him that. She said the match was still on, and if they didn't like it, they knew where they can go. Heyman smiled and walked away. That was weird as hell. I was distracted for a second. Didn't hear Heyman. What Heyman opened with, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. But they definitely have a story. I hope it doesn't stink. Rey Mysterio makes his ring entrance, and followed by Sin Cara. The Primetime Players were out next. What 2 matches in 1 pay-per-view? Color me totally surprised. So we get match number 5, Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Primetime Players. They went for the 619 early, but the Players blocked it and worked Rey over. Sin Cara got a hot tag and kicked everything moving. He went for one of his top rope drags, but O'Neal caught him and hit several backbreakers to maintain control. Titus held Cara's face and yelled at him to speak English. Cara fought back, but Titus' power overpowered him for a good moment. Sin Cara reversed a move on Titus, but landed hard on top of his head. Probably got injured there, and Rey got a hot tag and cleaned house for the save. Cara took out Titus with a cross body from the top rope to the floor, so it mustn't have been too bad. Rey hit the 619 and splashed for the win. After the match, they were checking on Rey. They were checking on Rey and also checked on Sin Cara. But Cara finally crawled in the ring and celebrated with Rey. And the match took 12 minutes 28 seconds out of our lives. Pretty decent match. Never expected to get that much time, so I didn't put in more. Good for them. Didn't catch Sin Cara's potential injury when it happened, but the replay looked sick as hell. And I hope he didn't do that dive with a concussion, though. You have to have a backup plan in case something like that happens. Sorry, a scary moment. Hope he is okay. Next up, we get a video hyping the world title feud. Sheamus makes his ring entrance. Big Show was out next. This was a boring match, in my opinion. Of course, we have a new champion in Big Show. Show powered Sheamus off to start around as Dolph Ziggler was shown backstage watching on a monitor. Show put Sheamus in the corner and shushed the crowd. Sheamus powered out and hit a spear to the leg. Big Show went to the floor to recover. When he climbed back in, Sheamus attacked, but Show just tossed him to the floor with his overpowering height. Show stayed on the attack and hit a nasty-looking knee to the face. Show pounded on Sheamus, even hitting the super kick for 2. Show hooked in a bear hug and then dropped to one knee to lock it in. Sheamus pounded on Show and tried to lift him, but he fell back with Show on top of him. Show hit a second rope splash and covered for a 2 count. Show called for the choke slam. He grabbed Sheamus, but Sheamus reversed it into a DDT. He covered, but Show power kicked out, and Sheamus fell to the floor. Sheamus jumped up and hit a hangman. And he hit a couple of forearm blows and ran into a choke slam for a good near fall. Show started to hook the colossal clutch, but Sheamus stood up and slipped out. He took Show down and tried to hook a clover leaf, but Show kicked him to the floor with his big legs. Show lifted Sheamus and tried to run him into the post, but Sheamus slipped off and drove Show into the post 3 times. Show rolled back in the ring, and Sheamus came in for a comeback. He effortlessly picked up Show. Yeah, he effortlessly picked up Show and hit the white noise for a great response from the crowd. The crowd screamed for the brogue kick. Sheamus went for it, but Show caught him and hit the WMD with a wide, like an uppercut. JBL gave away the near fall by screaming that one no one had ever kicked out from that punch. before it actually happened. Sheamus ducked another knockout punch and hit the Brogue Kick for another near fall. Sheamus went for another, but Show hit the WMD instead and covered him for the win. And the match took 20 minutes and 15 seconds out of our lives. After the match, Sheamus sold the punch by holding his face, letting the refs help him to the back. What a match. Seriously, that might be the best match of the show. My memory doesn't work well on these sorts of things, but I struggle to remember a match of shows that impressed me more. They told a story from start to finish. I'm also shocked at about the finish. Right call, too. Now, if this gets Sheamus' attention, then this was a win-win moment. Backstage, Booker T was shown watching a monitor. King Booker. Eve walked up and tried to talk to him, but Booker blew her off and said he had to go check on Sheamus. He walked off. Teddy walked up. He told her that he was getting what she deserved. Zack Ryder walked up wearing a witch costume and said he was the scariest witch in WWE. Eve. Teddy said he had one letter wrong. Eve stormed off, and Santino Marella walked in wearing a Lady Gaga outfit. He started singing Born This Way, and Ron Simmons walked up and finally said, "Damn." Backstage, Vince McMahon was on the phone, and CM Punk walks up. Punk told him to cancel his match. Vince asked if Punk was lacking in confidence, intimidated by Ryback, or scared of Ryback. Punk said no to all. Vince told him to go out and prove that he was the best in the world. Always good to have a Ron Simmons sighting. I now have no idea what they are doing for the main event. This is either going to be a great or terrible. As we all know what happens at the end with the referee screwjob interference, as I predicted, some type of interference. Well, that was my version of an interference. All three divas make their way for their Divas match, triple threat, for the title. That's Eve. Let's see, yeah. Layla, Kaitlyn, and Eve, all out. Eve and Kaitlyn attacked Eve to get Kaitlyn and Layla attacked Eve together, but Layla tried a quick roll up on Kaitlyn for a 2 count. They got in a shoving match. It all broke down into women running in and out with short powders for the third woman. Layla hit the knockout kick on Kaitlyn and covered. Eve threw her from the ring and covered herself. But Layla made it back to break the count. Layla hit a crossbody on Kaitlyn. But Kaitlyn rode through and hit a power slam. She covered it, but Eve hit a senton and covered Layla for the win. And the match only took 6 minutes, 24 seconds out of our lives. Kaitlyn did a good job hanging with the other two when she was in there. Pretty good match for the women. The crowd died for it, which was a shame. Backstage segment, Josh Matthews interviewed Big Show, who said no for 45 seconds. Title runs or embarrassing title runs. He said he was champion and dared anyone to try and take it from him. In the trainer's room, Sheamus was being looked at, and Stryker said that they have no update, but would be passing along when they got one. The video hyping the main event. CM Punk makes his ring entrance, and we have Paul Heyman had a hug at the door that the announce team tried to put over as a goodbye. A Goldberg chant started before Ryback's music hits. Ryback made his entrance to a surprisingly small reaction. And we get started the match. Another Goldberg chant starts before the bell. It's Atlanta, the hometown of Goldberg. Punk ran it first. Heyman yelled at Punk that he believed in him. Punk ducked a couple of blows and hit some shots of his own. Ryback no-sold it and tossed Punk around. He threw Punk to the floor. Punk hit the cage near the door. Punk tried to get the door open, but Ryback came to the floor and threw Punk into the cage twice. Punk rolled under the ring, and Heyman cried for Ryback. to have mercy. No such thing. Ryback said he's dead and pulled the ring apron up. And as everybody predicting, fire extinguisher and from underneath the ring, sprayed him in the face, and then Punk grabbed a chair. He charged, but Ryback hit the boot on the chair. Ryback gorilla slammed Punk back into the ring. Ryback slammed Punk again and rolled to the apron. He hit a hangman move and then back-to-back double sledgehammers to drop Ryback to a knee. He went for a third, but Ryback caught him. He shoved Punk away, and Punk hit a heel kick. They went back to the floor, and Ryback missed a spear and hit the stairs. Punk capitalized and hit the high knee and a bulldog, followed with an elbow drop, and went straight to the floor. He came back with a kendo stick and started wailing on Ryback. Ryback woke up from it and snatched the kendo stick away. He started his comeback and set up for the meat hook clothesline. Ryback hit it and called for the shell shock. He lifted Punk up and marched around. Suddenly, the ref stopped him. Ryback looked confused, and then the ref dropped to his knees and hit a low blow. The match ended there. It should have been a disqualification, but in a Hell in a Cell match, there is no disqualification. And the quickest count ever. I mean, it's like that was it. Pinfall. Referee immediately counted, and the match only took 11 minutes 22 seconds for that. So Punk retains with the interference with the referee help. After the match, Punk and the referee fled the ring and demanded the door to be opened. Unfortunately, fortunately for the crowd, the ref was on the outside with a complete moron and gave Ryback time to recover. Punk shoved the referee, the one that was in the match, and he shoved the ref, and Ryback and ran. Ryback squashed the referee and then caught Punk. He slammed Punk onto the floor and went back to the ref. He hit the clothesline on the ref and then threw him from the ring into the cage. Pretty good, decent reaction from the referee, acting when he gets thrown into the cage. Heyman tried to drag Punk from the arena, from the area, but Ryback stopped him. Heyman fled to the back with the title. Ryback grabbed Punk and threw him at the cage on the outside, but Punk climbed to the top of the cage. Ryback followed after a minute of him watching climbing up. And we get shades of the Gladiators and climbing the wall. Well, Ryback caught Punk and hit shell shock on the top of the cage. Well, let me just describe this for you. The cage, everybody knows, it's like when a cage is sitting there for the drop, you can step on a cage, and then the loose part, that normally means that it's set to fall through. Well, Ryback was on it, and it was seeping through. Everywhere else on top of the cage, it was all tight as could be. That way, in other words, it was all flat. But that particular spot in the ring where he started to do his fall back, the shell shock, he stepped to the left of it and delivered the shell shock. So, I'm guessing that he's afraid of heights, like myself. So, good way to avoid that. And then he dropped his straps and got the crowd chanting Phoebe Moore to close the show. You know what? I liked it. I really do. Yeah, Ryback took a loss, but he had Punk beat up as the ref screwed him, and it took the referee to screw him from losing the match. He also finished strong and had a really great moment on top of the cage with the crowd. It works. And it was a pretty good match. Ryback did a better job than I thought he would do by selling. And they told a good story. There was a lot of that tonight. Cookies for all the ages and the talent tonight from Sunday night. Really good show overall. Really enjoyed it. And the time really flew by. The top title matches worked very well. And the undercard got legitimate time. I'm finding it hard to say anything bad about the pay-per-view delivery other than the Cesaro versus Gabriel shitfest. And of course, the screw job finish was my only complaint. And terrible, because everybody was hoping for Ryback to win, but being that it has already been advertised for next month's pay-per-view, Cena versus CM Punk for the next pay-per-view. And that will end my report on the pay-per-view for this past Sunday. Thank you and peace out.